friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time, and I'm here for what I know is going to be at least a part 1 of herbal and natural remedies shared with me by my followers. Now, I'm not going to be sharing any of their names or channel names or whatever. If they want to come in and comment and say who they were and what they shared, that's fine. So this was an idea I came up with so we could get more information out there from real life testimonies of people who've used different things to cure different ailments, or at least to help with different ailments. So yeah, this is only part of what's been sent to me so far. I have several more of these to read, and I'm sure I'll have more coming in. So I figure this is at least a part 1, probably something that's going to be continuing on. I might end up doing one of these every month for all I know. So let me go ahead and get to reading this. And I did print it off kind of small, so unfortunately I got to put on my reading glasses, but I wanted to save paper rather than have bigger print. So here we go. So this first one is on sinus infection and nasal polyp. Many years ago, I had been dealing with a totally blocked nostril. I would end up with sinus infections, and after the infection cleared, I would still have one side that would stay blocked. Well, as much as I didn't want to, I ended up taking Claritin and other prescribed medicine to no avail. Doctor discovered I had a polyp and wanted to have me get it removed. I researched and found that many times the polyp would grow back. So that was a no-go for me. I know, by the way, that's the same for nodules on the vocal cords like I have, which is why a lot of times my voice sounds pretty rough. And I found out years and years ago when I figured out what was going on with my vocal cords that the same thing can happen. You can go through all the trouble having it removed, the expense, the pain, etc., just to have them come back. So I decided against that. Of course, in hindsight, I realized the steroids played a big part in not allowing my body to heal. I decided to quit taking the prescriptions and such and just focus on clean eating and doing various remedies. It was getting better, but still couldn't smell, and the one nostril just stayed plugged up. One day my husband says, "Take a spoonful of raw horseradish, that should work." I was hesitant, but went for it. Yep, that totally opened up my sinuses. Shortly after that, maybe a week or so, I could smell again. I'll never forget taking a shower and all of a sudden I was able to smell the soap I was using. Totally surprised me. Now I know I was doing other things along with the horseradish, but I truly believe that the horseradish did the trick. I had taken it a couple of times and I just think that was a good overall tonic. That also helped to flush my system from all the pharmaceutical junk I was taking. I haven't had a problem for over a decade now. Horseradish is our go-to for a lot of things. So by the way, I do have a video on the benefits of horseradish. And in fact, it's in my playlist where I do all the different herb profiles and other types of foods like nuts and more. And so I'll link to that full playlist down below, and you'll be able to find the horseradish video in there and all its benefits. So I love horseradish. It's great. So that is why it's one of the things I add to my honey-infused garlic, and I love it. This one is a short one in regards to blood pressure. For almost a year, my blood pressure was running around 183 on the top. Doctor was pushing me toward medication to lower it. I started sprinkling cayenne pepper on my food regularly. Last couple of months at the doctor, my blood pressure has been down to 143 to 153 on the top, and the neuropathy in my feet has subsided. Now, for those of you who might think that top number is high, it's all going to depend on the age of the person. There's many factors. It's really a crime that we're made to believe that there's one set healthy blood pressure for everyone. That's just simply not true. This actually sounds, assuming this person is at least my age and older, this sounds like a healthy blood pressure that she's got now. Okay, moving on. I wanted to focus on 2 herbs, feverfew and plantain. I cut my toe on chicken wire, I think, which got infected. Neosporin was not helping. I chewed up a few plantain leaves to put on the infection, covered it with a bandage, and went to bed. When I woke up, the infection was coming out and I could actually bend my toe. I cleaned it and repeated with the plantain. By bedtime, same results. One more night and the infection and pain was gone. I love plantain. Got a video on that too. I have since made salve with plantain infused sweet almond oil, tea tree essential oil, and beeswax. My daughter used it on her great-granddaughter's diaper rash, and it was gone by morning. We use it on all cuts and scrapes now. The other is feverfew, which I have a video on feverfew as well. Feverfew tincture. So I do make an extract using feverfew and a few other herbs for just general pain and inflammation throughout the body. That can be headaches or anything else. I get migraines occasionally, and a dropper full helps more than anything else. I have also used it when I overwork in the garden and get lower back pain, and it helps tremendously with no prescription medication. I did buy everything needed for the muscle rub, and the herbs are steeping now. I'll let you know how it works for us. Thanks for sharing your knowledge with us. I have other tinctures and oils ready, but we rarely get sick, so I haven't had the opportunity to try them. So what she's mentioning here is I have a few recipes out in regards to a topical muscle and joint rub to help with pain and to help with healing and help with muscle relaxation. And I also have an extract. So I'll link to those 3 videos because there's one on the oil infusion since I've up to my game on the actual infused oil. Then there's one where I add all these different essential oils, which are totally optional. And then I have another one on the extract. Okay, next one. I'm a 30-year-old woman who has suffered from terrible asthma for most of my life. I have tried pretty much everything. Symbicort, Singulair, Dulera, Asthmatics. I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing this right. I've never heard of any of these. You name it. I've probably tried it. I even tried allergy shots to see if they would ease my asthma symptoms, but no luck. I had terrible side effects from every single one of these treatments. Singulair caused me to develop dark circular thoughts. I became caught in my own mind with no escape until I got off that medication. Symbicort gave me neurological issues. I had no idea how serious this side effect was until I researched my symptoms. My quality of life was atrocious. I couldn't go outside, exercise, or enjoy my life. I existed to go to work and sleep. I had issues concentrating, remembering things, and focusing. This year, I became determined to take control of my life. I researched old methods of treating lung complaints, and I found lobelia. I now use lobelia to help my asthma. I have never felt so good in my entire life. My thoughts are calm. I can take a deep breath, and I can go for a walk around my neighborhood. Wonderful. I never knew how sick I was. I never knew how exhausted I was. Imagine living your life as a ghost of your current self. Everything is distant from you, as if you're a million miles away. You know that something is wrong, but you are too exhausted to examine the thought any further. This was my life, a living hell. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. Now that my health has gotten better, I can control other aspects of my life. I meal prep, I eat healthy, I exercise. I have a whole new lease on life, and I thank God every day. It is by the grace of God that I found this plant. It is by the grace of God that this plant worked for me. Sorry, I didn't expect to get emotional. And it is by his grace that I can share this story with you. Warning, I appreciate that she threw this in there. Lobelia can kill you by switching off your vagus nerve, but it has a nifty little safety mechanism. Stop taking lobelia if you are nauseated or vomiting. So little warning there, just like with anything, you should never take anything and just jump into something and start taking high quantities, because high quantities of anything can have detrimental effects. So moving on to the next one. I'm going to include 2 testimonials on natural remedies and will do my best to keep them short. The first one, I found an article several years ago that talked about elderberry as a natural remedy for those who have a flu. I am a very skeptical person, but I figured it was worth a try, and here's what I found out. None of my family, some friends, and myself have had a case of the flu for over 10 years. So that's after using the elderberry syrup. So I do have a recipe, my own personal one. Everybody's going to have their own, but if you're interested in my recipe on elderberry syrup, or you can even make an extract or tincture out of it if you choose. I like to make a syrup in this case, and so I'll link to my recipe down below. I love it. We only take it when we need it, but at least it's something that's enjoyable to take, unlike some of my other things like the pain remedy. It's better. It's better than it used to be, my newest recipe, but it's still not the tastiest thing. And the next one is within the last couple of years. I woke up in the middle of the night and could not get back to sleep. So as I sometimes do, I went online to read the news. The first article I came across was one that stated that if there was a natural remedy for C19, this could be it. As a father, I was very concerned about the tap on the arm that was being pushed on everyone. Feeling that I was in some way being led to this information, that same night I searched and ordered an herb called sweet wormwood, said to be the herbal equivalent of HCQ, which, by the way, the natural form of that comes from cinchona bark, and I have a video on that. So I have made a cinchona bark extract. To make a long story short, me being high risk because I'm overweight, a borderline diabetic, and had a heart attack before C19 started, I went through it with a case of sniffles. Rest of my family ranged between a nasty sore throat and a mild cold. So that should tell you something right there. And, we've all had it in our family, and none of us have had that little jab. But the thing is the reason we got it was because somebody who was a coworker of one of our other family members got it. Now, this person also did not have the jab, but they got it from all the other coworkers, which every single one of them had the jab, and they all got sick and then passed it on to them, and then we ended up getting it from them. So, but we all had mild cases. In my case, it was a little bit different in the fact that my case was mild of that particular thing. But what that particular virus does do is it can activate EBV. So if you've ever been infected with EBV, as I have, it will reactivate it, and then you can go through a long period of just overall body fatigue, which that took me about a year to finally fully get over. The actual virus itself was no big deal. I pretty much breezed through it, but it was the fatigue from the activation of the EBV that I had to struggle with for a year. But I've done that before because obviously I'd been sick with that before about 10, 12 years prior. So anyway, that's it for the part one on this. Stay tuned for more of these testimonial videos to come out. Like I said, I know I'm going to for sure have one more, but I'm thinking I'm probably going to be several more like this as more people share with me their stories. So I hope you enjoyed this video and it gave you some hope. And don't forget to check out the links I'll be putting in the description box down below by clicking on more or show more somewhere right down here just below the screen to open that description box and find all those links. And if I forget any, just let me know. I'll make sure to get it in there. And thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.